Hi, we need to talk about diets. Let me guess, you have tried at least one, probably several different diets, and none have worked. Yes. And now you are here wondering what magic answer I have to the question, what is the best diet for women? And if you were hoping that I would name one diet that you can stick to and that will solve your problems, then I will have to disappoint. Because the answer I have found is, in one way, much easier, but in another way, much more complicated. You have found my new podcast locked in and synced up, and I am your yapper, Elin Pofs. Let's get into it.
Locked in and synced up.
First, I want to tell you about my diet history and why all the diets I have tried haven't worked. And then we're going to dig into my answer to the question, what is the best diet for women? And then we're going to go into why it works. I have tried kind of every diet under the sun. When I lived at home with my parents, we ate like half processed, half whole foods. I have 4 siblings, so I understand that my parents didn't have time to like cook for everybody every day, every meal. But we ate a lot of carbohydrates and meat. I was gluten-free. I was allergic, or I am allergic to gluten, so that was kind of my only official diet. And then I moved away from home to the capital of Finland, and I was avoiding meat. I wasn't fully like vegan. I was still eating eggs, but no meat. Mostly because, well, it is expensive, and also I was thinking about the animals. And somehow I've had like in the back of my mind that vegan or vegetarian is more healthy than eating meat. So I don't know where that came from. And also I grew up with this mindset that products with low fat is better than like full fat. Then I started experimenting and I became fully vegan for some time. And then I did some kind of compromise, so I was kind of vegan or pescetarian. So I ate eggs and fish, but I was completely avoiding dairy and meat. Then I've tried keto, and I've tried low-carb, high-fat. I've tried... Well, at some point I got this idea that salt is bad, because if you eat a lot of salt, then the fluid in your body sticks to it, and that's why you have water retention. So I've had a lot of interesting ideas. And at one point I didn't count calories, but I was following some kind of meal plan, and I definitely ate too little. Like I didn't eat enough nutrition, like I didn't eat enough energy for my body. I didn't eat enough. So yeah, maybe my longest diet was the pescetarian diet without salt and way too little calories overall, which I can say it wasn't a good combination. I absolutely think that you can be vegetarian or vegan and be healthy, but it will require you to be more aware of what you're eating and really double down on some nutrients that might go missing from the meat that you don't eat. For me, when I was vegan, I also ate a lot of soy products, and they are highly processed, and soy, if you eat too much of it, it can also mimic the estrogen in your body, and most women already have like too much estrogen. So that was really not a good combination for me, and I didn't even realize it. I just thought I was super healthy, changing all the dairy products to like soy and other very processed products. Keto for me is way too strict, and also low carb, high fat diets overall, because during half of your menstrual cycle it could work, or like a quarter of it, but then you need complex carbs to produce the right hormones for you to function and feel well and not have cramps and PMS symptoms. So keto didn't work for me either, and it was also pretty boring if you're gonna be strict keto. I think that you can do keto during your menstrual phase. It's about 5 to 7 days, and that can feel good, but then you need carbs. The diet, when I was following a meal plan, I ate way too little. I didn't count carbs, never have, never will, but it was obviously too little for me. During this same time, it was about a year, I was working out every single morning for a year. I was doing HIIT workouts, at least for half an hour. And I was eating this diet where I wasn't nourishing myself enough. I got skinny, yes. I got lean, sure. But I wasn't healthy. And I burned out a year into this diet and workout plan. And that's not worth it. Never. Of course, it was also due to my work and Corona and whatnot. But still, I think me eating too little was a big part of that. Like, my body just didn't get enough energy. It wasn't intentional. I wasn't trying to get skinny. I was just trying to be healthy. But obviously that wasn't healthy. And I was following, as I said, a meal plan, and I thought that they knew what was good for me. But now I know better. So I'm not doing that again. Then this idea I had about eating no salt. That was really weird. I have to admit. We need minerals, we need salt in our bodies. I don't even understand why I have to say it, but I mean, if I can come up with such a stupid idea, probably someone else could do the same. So just to put it out there, eating no salt is a bad idea. Eating a little bit of salt is good. Maybe in our Nordic countries we sometimes eat too much salt, so it's a balance. Everything is a balance. Oh, actually, before I moved away from home, I was on a sugar strike. No, what is it called? I wasn't eating sugar for 5 years, which, of course, in your teenage years is crazy. People were like, what? You haven't eaten candy in 5 years? And I was like, nah, no. And actually, it was never hard, because I just kind of stopped eating candy, and then it just didn't taste good after a while. So yeah, like why would I eat it if it's just sticking in my teeth and doesn't even taste good, and yeah, a lot of sugar. So yes, I was avoiding candy and sweets, and some periods I was maybe a little bit more strict, so I didn't eat like cakes or anything sugary. And during all of this time I have been gluten-free, so I haven't eaten any grains containing gluten. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot about another diet that I tried, or actually I came up with it myself. I thought, oh my gosh, I've done so many stupid things. Anyways, I came up with the ABC diet, which was, as it sounds, you eat accordingly to the alphabet, So on day one, you eat only things starting with A, the letter A. And I don't mean like dishes. I mean like A, like I can't come up with anything on A. Asparagus, for example. Except we were doing it in Swedish, so it's not exactly the same. But asparagus. So we could list all the things that we came up with starting with A, and then we had to like make a dish out of that in some way, shape or form. So on day 2 we could eat the letter B, so bananas, brie, the cheese, I guess, not like bolognese because that's a dish, beans, maybe, even though that's a little bit broad, but you get the point. So I don't know, we went through the whole alphabet. Like in the end, when we got to X and other difficult letters, then we started doing lunch X and dinner Y. For example, okay, you can kind of figure out that this is not a good diet, but actually it was a lot of fun. We could only eat the letters that we, or the food that we came up with, but in the end of the day, we could Google. So then we were like, oh, dang, we didn't think about that. Or, oh, wow, is there something called blah, blah, blah. So it was a lot of learning, and actually I loved the mindset, it's not very sustainable, but it was fun to try because we found so many new things that we wouldn't otherwise have bought or tried to eat or cook or whatever, and also matching weird stuff together. It was a fun experience. I wouldn't recommend it. We were, of course, filming everything, but I never finished that project for different reasons. It wasn't maybe as fun to watch as I had hoped. It was more fun trying, and also my sibling started transitioning kind of right after, so it was just an awkward phase. But if this video gets like 2,000 likes and I win the lottery, then definitely I will post them. They are in Swedish though, so I will have to do subtitles in English, but it would be fun finishing it, but I don't know who's gonna watch. Anyways, so I've really tried all the diets, all the official diets and all the unofficial diets. I don't mean to say that all of these diets are necessarily bad for you, but they are just incomplete. They are too extreme. I've tried intermittent fasting. It wasn't maybe a conscious decision the first time, or all of us have fasted. I mean, you fast when you sleep, kind of. But I ate 2 times a day. Very specific. I got up, worked out, so I was working out in a fasted state. And I ate lunch, and then I ate dinner at 5 p.m. And that was my life for a whole year. So I was kind of fasting. I was fasting for like 18 hours every day. I think fasting is good to some extent and in certain phases of your cycle. I think you can fast during your follicular phase and your ovulatory phase, and maybe a few days into your luteal phase. But during most of your luteal phase and your menstrual phase, if you fast for too long, you will be putting extra stress on your body, which makes it release more cortisol, which just makes your body cling onto the fat and cling onto all the fluids in your body, because it's going into like survival mode because you are not feeding it enough. If I would be doing diets, I would rotate them through my cycle. So maybe doing more keto during my menstrual phase, or doing intermittent fasting or cutting calories during my follicular phase and so on. But I don't think that is necessary at all. I think it gets maybe a little bit complicated. I think varying our food and rotating it keeps us alert, keeps us inspired, and just makes it easier for us to actually get all the different nutrients that we need. So let's get into the answer. My answer to the question, what is the best diet for women, is a diet that doesn't spike your blood sugar, a diet that is nutrient dense, and a varied diet. Let's talk about it. So, spiking your blood sugar, what does that even mean? Not to be dramatic, but since you were born, you have been toasting. I think it's the glucose goddess who came up with that term. But it is true. With toasting, I mean aging, both on the outside and inside. And there are several things that you can do to slow the aging down or to make it happen faster. And one of those things is to spike blood sugar. If you spike your blood sugar or spike your glucose levels, then you will age faster. So we don't want that. We want to steady our blood sugar, which also means we want to avoid dips, because big dips usually comes with big spikes. So we don't want dips and we don't want spikes. We want it steady. If you ever measure your glucose levels, they can't be like straight, but you can avoid the big fluctuations. How to do this? The first thing is to start your mornings with protein. No sweet things in the morning, because you have been fasting during the night and then your body is more sensitive to glucose, to starch, and to sugars. So you want to ease in with a lot of protein that makes a good base for the rest of your day and will make your mood much more steady. Protein for breakfast. And then if we take any meal, lunch, dinner, whatever, you will want to start with your fiber first, because it doesn't really do anything to your blood sugar, but it works as a safety net, let's say, for the rest of the food that you are eating. So when you have eaten your fiber, you have this safety net that will make everything slower in your body. A dessert after your meal won't spike your blood sugar, but the same dessert 2 hours later definitely will. Fiber first as your safety net, and then proteins and fats, and then your carbohydrates. In our daily life, we usually get enough carbohydrates and we need them, but we don't have to focus on them because it's really easy to eat too much carbohydrates or too much glucose, which will overwhelm your body. To make a long story short, when you spike your glucose, your body doesn't know where to put that glucose, so it goes into your fat cells. So fat doesn't make you fat, but constantly spiking your glucose does. Okay, so stable blood sugar. Also, another way to do this is to not snack, to eat the protein in the morning and then wait a few hours, 3 to 5 hours, eat your lunch, and then eat your dinner. And that's it. Number 2, nutrient-dense food. Overall, our food isn't as nutrient-dense as it was 200 years ago or 100 years ago or 60 years ago, because we are growing greens and vegetables and grains and whatnot in a much more rapid pace. So the soil itself doesn't even have all the nutrients that we want in our greens and our grains and so on. So what I tend to go for is organic foods as much as I can. Greens and eggs and vegetables and everything organic, locally grown greens, and then grass-fed meat. Avoiding pesticides, avoiding plastic or heavy metals as much as I can. Even if I try to eat really healthy and clean, I still supplement with supplements. I still add supplements to complete my diet. Number 3, a varied diet. I love to rotate my diet and what I eat according to my cycle. So during my menstrual phase, I eat iron-rich food to compensate for, the blood, the iron. And then I eat a lot of vitamin C, which helps absorb the iron. I prioritize magnesium, which is good for a lot of things, but it can help ease cramps and relax muscles and even help you sleep better. And then I really prioritize hydration and eating only warm cooked meals because my body is already working so much overtime, so I want to make it easy for my body and eat warm food. Then during my follicular phase, I eat lean protein. I eat prebiotic food to eliminate excess estrogen. I prioritize hydration and minerals, healthy fats, and colorful vegetables. I eat the rainbow. During my ovulatory phase, I eat lighter meals. I eat fresh fruit, antioxidant-rich foods, anti-inflammatory foods. Why are they all so difficult to pronounce? And zinc. And last but not least, during my luteal phase, I eat high-quality protein, complex carbohydrates, omega-3 to help with cramps and PMS symptoms, vitamin B6 and magnesium. But most of all, I prioritize steady meals. So I don't do fasting during my luteal phase. Whew, that was heavy. So much information. This was maybe not the answer that you wanted, but it's the answer that I have found that works best for me, at least, and for many other women that I know. So the key takeaway here is if your diet spikes your blood sugar, starves you or stresses you out, it's not sustainable. Because your body needs support and it needs to be nourished. But cycle syncing makes it so much fun, so I hope you dare to try it at some point. Have an amazing day. Go do you, boo. I believe in you. And I will see you again next time. Bye! Hej då!